That night, a female kissed me. And when she kissed me, oh my God, I got so sick to my stomach. I almost threw up. And I was getting ready to go. But as I was getting ready to go, I looked up and I see about 10 or 20 guys. I don't remember how many exactly. But they are holding this girl and they running a train on them. Don't think that you can talk to a narcissist and you're going to convince them of anything. You're not. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. They don't care about how much you love them. They don't care about what you do for them. At the end of the day, it's always about control. Again, they are smarter than you at being evil.
Welcome to Life Coaching by Mel. My name is Mel. Here at Life Coaching by Mel, we speak truth. And when I say truth, I'm not referring to my truth, your truth. I'm referring to the Lord's truth. And guys, when I start this podcast, I want to bring people on to have authentic conversations that affect the family dynamic. And today is no different. Have an amazing conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. My friend, my newfound friend, Marshae, is joining the podcast. How you doing, Marshae?
Hey, I'm fine, Mel. How y'all doing?
Man, everything is well. All is well. Marshae and I connected through a previous guest I have had on the podcast named Kristen, and we have an amazing conversation with her. But she put me on to Marshae because this is a powerful woman of God, ladies and gentlemen. When I say buckle up, I mean buckle up. She has an amazing testimony, and we're going to get right into it. Marshae, you broke everything down to me. We had about a 45-minute conversation. I was like, whoa, I'm blown away. But let's start with your childhood. Tell us a little bit how things were for you growing up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say out the gate, hey, God, he don't play no games. I mean, I'm gonna say the devil don't either. But just out the gate, I was born premature. I think 6.5 months. My mom, she had heart failure, and the doctor told her, "Hey, we need you to abort this baby." And my mom told the doctor, "Nah, that's not happening. I'm gonna bring as many children in this world as I possibly can." So she had me 6.5 months old, and well, hey, they said I fought for life, and I made it. So, like I said, because my mom had heart failure, she ended up having 2 more kids, and they told her the exact same thing. And me and my brothers were back to back, but they told her to abort both the babies. They told her no. Each time she had us, she had me, her heart grew weaker. She had my brother, her heart grew much weaker. She had my baby brother, her heart grew much weaker. So 3 weeks after she had my baby brother, she passed away. I think I was 2 going on 3. So I lost my mom when I was 2. I was a daddy's girl. Loved my daddy. He was my everything. But that was short-lived too, because I will say he passed when I was 10. So it got real for me when he passed, because I was daddy's girl, daddy's little girl. That's saying that was me. My dad was my everything. He spoiled me and he loved me. He was one of those fathers. I got a whipping. I'm crying. He coming to me. I'm so sorry, baby. I ain't gonna whip you no more. So I had him wrapped around my finger, and I just really loved my dad. He was my everything. He was my superhero. And, I did not believe that when they told me he was dead. Nah, you don't know my daddy. He would not leave me. He ain't stand the rest of y'all, but he wouldn't leave me. Right. But so when he passed, it was truly traumatic for me, and it was hard. But not only that, it went from one thing to another instantly. My oldest sister, she adopted me, but she had a boyfriend who was abusive. My sister, she was young herself. I want to say when my dad died, my sister was like 23, 24. And she got her kids plus me and my baby brother. My other brother was adopted because he was so tiny. when he was born. So he was adopted by my auntie. But my sister had all her kids, plus she adopted my brother and I. And as a result, you know, I mean, if you think about it, 24-year-old, you're a child
Yeah.
yourself. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And
Hmm.
you got 6 kids now to take care of.
Yeah.
So I don't think she knew what she was doing. And she sort of let her boyfriend take reign. He was extremely verbal abusive, physical abusive. So I'm sort of just going through life. Like I became a zombie somewhere in there. It's so many
Yeah.
times I can't even tell you about stuff that happened because, you know, your mind got a way of protecting itself, blocking everything out.
Hmm.
So I pretty much went through that type of abuse until I was 18. And I went to college. So I mean, for the most part, that's pretty much my childhood.
Yeah. Man, and it's so powerful hearing you talk about your dad and your mom, and mainly your dad, because I'm actually expecting my first child, and she's a baby girl, and just hearing that relationship you guys had,
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, and so I'm excited. But I would hope I can emulate that type of relationship. But that sounds so powerful. But you suffered those, traumatic, I would imagine, moments, after that, during, receiving those deaths, and then the treatment that you received with that verbal abuse. Now, being that your parents were both gone at 10, when looking back, how you believe that actually affected your life?
Okay. Whoa. So to be honest, I think the biggest thing, and I didn't realize it then because I was a child, I was always looking for a mom. I had a love-hate relationship with that book. You remember that book? Are You My Mother? I don't know if you ever read that book, but it was
Mm-mm.
a book with a bird on it. I think he was a bird. He got lost out of the nest. And he was going around and asking the dog, "Are you my mother?" You know, he was going around and asking these different animals, were they his mother? You know, and
Yeah.
God revealed to me you had a love-hate relationship. He just recently revealed that to me. I forgot all about that. I remember I used to go around calling everybody mom, cousins. I remember that my dad, he was dating this lady. I was calling her mom. Now I forgot all about this, but God definitely showed it to me. And so I remember, you know, when you are young, you do the red sports with your cousins and aunts and
Yeah.
stuff. And we used to do cheerleading. I would hate that, you know, my cousins, they would always have their mom. They would go get their nails did together. They would go do stuff afterwards. You know, they had father-daughter dances, and it was stuff I couldn't participate in. And you know, and all this is stuff God, he just recently started showing to me. But
Hmm.
because it's a healing journey, you know. I
Yeah.
do remember one night I'm just in my bed, just bawling, just crying because it's not fair. It's not fair that I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad. Not to say that anything was wrong with what my sister was doing. My sister was great. Her boyfriend wasn't, but she was great. It's just that and I didn't know it then, but you long for parents. You long for that nurture. You long for what a daddy can give you. As a child, you truly, truly need what it is that a loving parent can offer a child. But as a child, you have no way of knowing that you need it. So you look for it in everybody, you look for it in everything. Um, so I would say it greatly, greatly affected my life, but because as a child you're not developed, you really don't know how to articulate that. You can't express it. It shows up in different ways, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Showing up in different ways, and I can imagine you are kind of roaming aimlessly or not knowing what the next step to take, and you maybe latching on to things that maybe guidance from parents would have helped with. And one of those things was a lifestyle that you chose. And And you told me about this, and it blew my mind because, of course, you hear about this a lot, but we don't know a lot of details. The lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen, is the BDSM. Now, for those who aren't aware, could you explain to them what that may be, and let us know how you were introduced to it and how deep did you get involved?
Okay, BDSM. So, like I said, I mean, you go from one type of abuse, or I don't know if I did say this, but you can go from one type of abuse to another type. When I got in college, I did feel free. I was away from my sister abusive boyfriend, and it was a sense of independence. So I was a psychology major, and I can say I majored in psych because I was really trying to seek help. Didn't know it, but you're looking for help. So that was the only reason why I got into psychology. But in psychology, you have to write a lot of papers. So I used to be up late at night writing papers. And one night I was just bored, and one thing led to another. You all over just searching online. They had this thing called IMVU chat. I don't know. Have you ever heard of IMVU?
It sounds like a ring a bell. It just, I may have
Okay.
ventured on there one day in my life. No, I'm just joking. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I got on their chat platform. It was like 3D virtual. It was like The Sims, but The Sims hadn't come out yet. And it was you can chat with these 3D figures. And I have a vivid imagination. I'm a creative. And so as a creative, I like how you could go into these different worlds and you could talk to these different people. So I started doing that. And one night I met this guy. Y'all know how it is. It's late. So he end up introducing me to cyber sex. I didn't know what no cyber sex was. He was like, you using your imagination. We get into, I don't know if I can say it, but playing with yourself. And we just doing it online and we talking it out. So role playing. So I got into role playing with him, and we would get into role playing every night. I would look forward to it just because I'm a creative. My imagination is always going wild. So we got to do these elaborate role plays online. So one night we were role playing, and while we was role playing, he punched me in the role play. And I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? Why would you punch me? Like, what's supposed to turn on me? What's supposed to turn me on about you punching me? So he was like, you never heard of BDSM? No. What's BDSM? So he explained to me what BDSM is. And when he explained it to me, I think he kicked me or something. And I was like, dude, you're sick. I deleted him. And then I got off that night. But, the Bible says, it talks about, what you think about. It also talks about don't give the devil an inch.
Yeah.
He planted a seed. I had never heard about BDSM. I'm very curious. I like knowledge. I be want to know stuff. Right. And I'm like, who would put, sex and fighting together? What is this? So I started researching it, and I started learning about it, and I started getting a idea of what it was. And so I went back on IMVU, and I started seeking people who was into BDSM, and they had a whole bunch of people who was into it. So I would role play with these people night after night after night. Well, hey, planted a seed, you get a devil inch, you take a mile. Okay, role playing got boring. I need to continue to fulfill this. Whatever this is feel good. I like it. So let me go deeper. So then I started looking for real people. So I found this site that had a whole list of, oh my God, it was like Facebook, but for BDSM. Yeah. So I started talking to people, different people. Weeding out who I like, who I didn't like. And then eventually I got to this guy. He became a dominant for me. And so I would submit to him. Whatever he want, I did. It had it perks. I mean, I'm a college student. So, he would send money and stuff. I would go meet up with him. We would play, do whatever. And but with BDSM, it was over time it became like I can now say this, it's a perverted way of love. It's a perverted marriage almost. One thing about BDSM, you give these guys all of you. It ain't no, we gonna take it slow. You give them all of you. They get to know the intimate details. They get to know you more than anybody. And so, but what they do is they take it and they love on you, or they give you a false sense of love. They give you a false sense of safety. They do things you've never had done for you. They treat you a way you've never been treated before. But in exchange for that, you're going to go through sexual abuse. You're going to go through being controlled. You're going to go through humiliation. You're going to go through not having control of your life. So it's a perverted form of marriage. At the time, I believe that these men loved me. I believe that they was for me. I believe that they kept me safe. They twist your mind a little bit. You have to relearn some stuff. So you go from one form of abuse to another form of abuse. But yeah, I did that for 6 years of my life, and I was heavily into it. I got into living a double life. I did both sides, the dominant side as well as the submissive side. I would dumb men. I would take money from men. I would force them to do everything, clean my apartment, clean my house, just whatever I want, they did, and whatever sexual pleasure they want, I did for them. So, I got really heavily in that lifestyle. But hey, God pulled me out of it. So
now, and thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate your vulnerability. I don't want to take
no
that for
problem.
granted. That's very deep. But I want to say this for my audience, because someone may be listening to this or watching this and saying, well, they don't sound too bad. That sounds like something maybe I'm intrigued in. What would you say, Marshae, is for the Christian or for anyone that's trying to live a righteous life? What is the negative to doing that life?
Um, the negative of that life, I would definitely say, number one, God don't control you. He don't want anybody else to control you. Like I said before, it's a false love. It's not Christ's love. Um, everything you do in life is spiritual. So when you do this stuff, you are creating spiritual contracts. You're creating natural contracts as well as spiritual contracts. And when you sign on that line by sleeping with these people, by submitting yourself to these people, you do several things. You make them an idol. You make them a God in your life. So you take that position away from God. And as a result, you give Satan permission to come in to wreak havoc in your life. When you operate in that lifestyle, you open the door for all kind of demonic. This is sexual perversion at its highest. So, you give Satan legal rights to several aspects of your life. If you are in that lifestyle, you don't I know you got several things that's wrong in your life. You got several things that's wrong with your soul. You got several holes in your soul. You are demonically oppressed. Because again, and I don't want to get too deep in it unless you want to, but
we can go there.
When you do that, you allow spirits. You're not just sleeping with a person, you're sleeping with spirits. And these spirits, they make it plain and clear. Oh, we gonna marry you. And when they marry you, you giving them legal right to come in and be one with you. So with them being one with you, they coming in and they taking over your life. They're gonna sabotage every relationship you have. They're gonna
Wow.
sabotage your job. They're gonna sabotage your career. They're gonna sabotage your finances. Not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they slowly destroy your life. So every implication that you do in the natural, as far as when it comes to any sexual perversion, I always have a spiritual root to it. And that root says it must come to pass when you make something else an idol or you make something else a god. What you do with people in that lifestyle, those guys get to reign and rule over your life in a way that you didn't realize you were signing up for. So I hope that answered your question, Mel.
Whew. Did you answer? Oh my God. That's so powerful. And I really do, because I'm being honest, I really do think some over here, some parts of what you said originally was like, hey, you mean, I mean, I'm a college student, I can get paid, yeah, I'm already having sex, so let me just go, do it this way. But what you just said there, the implications of that, man, oh my God, that's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So
No problem.
in the Bible, we have our boy Saul, who had an unimaginable experience on the road to Damascus where he met Christ. And, it went so far, his life was changed forever. It went so far, it even changed his name. What was your road to Damascus moment?
My road to Damascus moment, I would definitely have to say, getting out of that lifestyle. Getting out of that lifestyle. I definitely had a huge road to Damascus moment. 2012, January. I went to a BDSM club in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta for the purpose of, I was, like I said earlier, I was living a double life. So I moved to Atlanta for the purpose, for real, I moved here to get into that lifestyle on a greater scale. But I told everybody I'm coming to work. Your girl, not to brag on myself, but I'm in IT, and God, He was doing miracles in my life even when I was wrong. Even when I was in that lifestyle. He was he was paving the path. But anyways, I had a dom at the time. I went to a BDSM nightclub, and BDSM nightclubs, like they say, you can say, hey, the freaks come out at night. So at the nightclub, most of them, they don't open until 12.
Wow.
So we got to the club at 12, and you know, this is my first time being at this type of club. Um, I got to be careful what I say online, but in order to get
Yeah.
in, you have to undress yourself. So at the time, I was very arrogant, and oh, that ain't nothing but a thing. I know on the bomb.com, so let's do it. So I did it, and you go in the back, they have all kinds of stuff like jacuzzi, pool halls, whatever you can imagine, whatever your eyes can think of, they got. So at the time, oh my God, woo, this is heaven. Like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm taking in. And it's nothing but sexual perversion all around you. And the night just go on. I'm participating in this, participating in that, and I just had a great time. I really enjoyed myself. But I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, I got out of the pool with some women that I was in the pool with, and I get out the pool, and because yeah, I'm sorry, it's been a minute since this
You
happened,
good. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm sorry, but that's how I also knew. I'm gonna say this side note. This is how I knew we were not meant to be gay. Like, I don't care what nobody says. That night, a female kissed me, and when she kissed me, oh my God, I got so sick to my stomach. I almost threw up.
Mm.
And I was like, yep, I'm not about that life. I'm not gay. I got out that pool. And I was getting ready to go. But as I was getting ready to go, I looked up and I see about 10 or 20 guys. I don't remember how many exactly. But they are holding this girl and they running a train on them. I mean, they going in. But it wasn't so much of what they were doing. It was what I saw. And I didn't know to see this. I didn't know to say this at that time. But in the spirit realm, what I saw was control. I saw dominance. I can't put it in words. I can't describe what I saw in that moment, but what I saw, I wanted. And I looked at that for quite some time. And I just remember making a whole bunch of vows that I probably was not supposed to make. But I was like, you know what? This is it. I don't know what this is, but I give my life to this. Oh, this is my life. Like, I don't care who know it. I'm going to call my sister tomorrow and I'm going to let her know this is what I do. I'm going to tell her all about it because I'm giving everything I got. I'm finna invest in this. I'm finna put my time in this, my energy in this. I'm finna learn everything about this. I'm finna become number one. Like I said, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I was just going. And I watched that scene and I know that in that instant, something changed in me. I know it did. So after that, I was really, really hungry. I ate because they got all you can eat all day there. I ate. I think we left about 7 a.m. And I went home and I slept because I want to say we went on Sunday night. So I slept all day Monday into Tuesday. Tuesday, I think I slept the majority of Tuesday, but I got a call Tuesday. First thing I hear, Marshae, your brother died. Wait, what? What you mean my brother died? No, he too young. You know what I'm saying? So my brother died, and this ain't just any brother. This my favorite brother.
Yeah.
This the one who believed in me. This the one who he always encouraging me. I'm a dreamer. And so I would always call him and tell him all my dreams. And he was like, man, that's so crazy. I don't know how you get your mind to go that far, but I know you're going to do it. So when they said he died, I lost it. I couldn't do it. You know, it was so hard for me. I didn't go home. I didn't go to the funeral. I couldn't do it. I went through depression so fast. So my brother died February. And then by April, I was so depressed. I lost my job. I lost everything. We hadn't been paying rent. I couldn't do it. I was gone. So that moment really got me. But the one thing I said, you know what? We live to die. Because that's how I felt. I don't lost my mama. I don't lost my dad. And I don't lost my brother. I'm only 20. I think I was 24 at the time. So we live to die. Might as well go ahead and just do it. So I went to CVS. I got they made a big bottle of Benadryl. They don't even make these big bottles of Benadryl no more. But I got a big bottle. I was determined I was going to take that whole bottle. I went home. I got the water and I put 8, which is very prophetic, by the way. But I took 8 pills. I put them in my hand. I took them. When I took them, I put 8 more in my hand. My phone rang. My phone rang. It was a friend. I had just met him because, like I said, I just moved to Atlanta for this. So I just met him at the new job. And he said, hey, Marshae, I know you're going through a lot, but I was listening to this pastor, and every time I would listen to the message, I just kept seeing your face. I can't make it up because now one of us really didn't understand God. I grew up in the church all my life, but I didn't understand God. So and he was saying, I can't make this up, but I kept seeing your face. So I wanted to just send you this sermon. I sent it to your email. Can you listen to it? And I remember thinking, I guess I can listen to one more thing God got to say, you know, on mine. So I rolled my eyes too at him though, but he didn't know it. I I picked up my computer and I listened to it. And as I was listening, I'm like, whoa, because the name of the sermon was "Who Report Will You Believe?" I had never heard preaching that way. You know, I'm used to the hooping and the howling, but this guy
Right.
was just calm, and well, I ain't gonna say he was calm, but he was teaching. And I remember him saying something. It might sound so simple now, but he said, God created over 1,000 species of trees, and those 1,000 species of tree, every last one of them got a name. Something that simple. Wait, hold up. God is intelligent? Like, wait, because I'm an intellectual. So it spoke to the intelligent side of me. And he had a way of explaining God and explaining the word. I've never heard this type of preaching. And so I ended up falling asleep because I took 8 sleeping pills. And so I got up the next day. I got finished with the sermon and I'm like, let me see if I can find this church. It said Lionheart Church International. Dang. Nah, I can't go to no international church. I need to go somewhere where the pastor know my name. If he don't know my name, I can't be there. You know what I'm saying? But it was so good. I said, let me at least try. I picked up the phone. I called the number on the website. To my surprise, he picked up the phone.
Wow.
And when he picked up, I was like, wait, you the pastor? You that man who did the sermon? He said, yeah, I'm the pastor. I just started boo-hoo crying. Boo-hoo crying. I cried and talked to this man for 2 hours. And I told him everything that I could within 2 hours. And he invited me to the church. Get this. When I went to the church, he was talking about demons. So I was like, yep, I think I need to go, but I couldn't leave. So got finished and I met him. And I would say all of this is a combination of my Damascus experience. He taught me how to pray. And with him teaching me how to pray, and he talked to me, and he also gave us food to eat. I think he paid 2 months of our rent. All this was my Damascus experience. And it was him teaching me how to pray that changed my life extremely quickly. I met him in April of 2012. By September of 2012, I went from making no money to $40,000 by praying the things he taught me to pray. And at the time, $40,000 was a whole bunch of money.
No doubt.
So my life changed in 2012 drastically. So yeah, that was my Damascus experience.
Man, the powerful stories keep coming out of you. That's amazing.
Can I say one thing too about that Damascus experience?
Absolutely.
I can now say the reason why I had to go through that with the whole, I could say what God showed me is because of what he called me to do now, he had to take me through what I went through. He couldn't let the devil get me. Because if you think about Paul went hard when he was in sin. When he was persecuting the Christians, he was killing the Christians. He went just as hard when he gave his life to God and started living for God. Right. So when you say Damascus, it's the exact same thing. That night, I don't know if I sold my soul to the devil, but I said some things that gave the devil legal rights to me. God had to systematically get me, and he got me that night. I said that stuff. And I didn't know what I was called to do, but I can say this. I believe that God, and I know this is going to be a crazy statement, but God took my brother because he know the lives that I would save. He knew how many people that I would get filled in tongues. Because of everything that I have been through, because of how much Satan has came for my life, I put my all into doing the things that God called me to do. I go hard. And again, I ain't bragging or nothing, but I didn't even know God was calling me to that. I enjoy getting people saved. I enjoy getting people filled with the baptism of the Holy Ghost with Bible evidence of speaking in tongues. None of that would have happened if it wasn't for that night. So,
Wow.
yeah, I would say that's the Damascus experience.
Oh my God. Beautiful, beautiful. And yet, speaking of Paul once again, he had an honest moment with us at one point where he talked about in 2 Corinthians, or to the Corinthian church at 12, he talked about this thorn in his flesh, and just mentioned, like, man, I got this thing in me that I really want to get rid of, you know. But he said he's talked to the Lord, and the Lord said, no, I'm not going to get rid of it for you. I'm not going to take it away. My grace is sufficient for you. So I imagine, Marshae, I mean, just someone's listening saying, man, okay, she's out of it, but I know something has to be pulling her to go back into it. So I'm asking, was this ever a thorn for you? If so, how did you deal with it? And if it hasn't been, why do you believe that it was so easy to go away for you?
So BDSM was not a thorn for me. In the beginning, yes. That's all. When I got out of it, because it was my brother dying that led me to salvation. So of course I had to give it up. But when I first gave it up, I was still in that. I want to talk about it. Can I at least talk about it? Can I live vicariously through it by talking about it? So I was there for a while, but eventually, God cleaned that up. But I will say BDSM wasn't a thorn in my flesh. It was just a tool that the devil was trying to use to get me. And when he saw that it didn't work, I had no desire for that. That was never it. But the thorn in my flesh, I would definitely say, is mommy issues. I've struggled with mommy issues my whole life. Also, well, I told you about my childhood and how I was always looking for a mom. To be honest, I forgot all about that. I don't know when I forgot, but it wasn't a thing by the time I got out of college. Even in college, I don't remember having anything about mom issues or anything. But actually 2012, when I went to the church I was at, this lady, I met her. She was an assistant pastor at a church at the time. At the time, I was big on mentors, and she worked at Lockheed Martin. She had a Benz. She had a nice, beautiful home. And I was like, yeah, I need to ask this lady, can she be my mentor? I asked her, could she be my mentor as soon as I got at that church in April. In September, it definitely was in September 2012. She took it further and told me that she was a spiritual mom. I didn't know what a spiritual mom was, but she told me that a spiritual mom was, I didn't birth you. I didn't give birth to you, but God says that you're my daughter. So I'm to treat you as if I did give birth to you. I'm to treat you no different than any of my daughters. And for me hearing this was like, wait, what? And I asked a few questions, and once I understood, whoa, this is like a miracle. God just gave me a mom. Like after your mom died, you don't have any more mothers. You don't even get a chance. You don't get an opportunity to have more mother. This was my mind was. So,
Yeah.
oh my God, God just did a miracle. I called my best friend. We're on the phone. Just God did a miracle. I got a mom. Oh my God, I got a second mom in life. And well, to be honest, she ended up being a narcissist. But she opened the door to me wanting a mom. So with that, the desire for a mom never went away after that. It was something that I struggled with for a very long time. I just really battled the idea of a mom. I wanted to go away, but no matter what I did, that desire never went away. So that I hope that answer your question.
It definitely did. I thank you for that. And so now, you've been delivered, you are on pace, and now you recognize, like, my thorn, this entire time has been, my desire to have a mother. And now you run across someone who's a narcissistic mother. you've made it clear to me, Marshae, that you have this particular calling on your life now. What do you believe that calling is?
um, well, yeah, I've been through a lot dealing with moms. I mean, and to put it in words, yeah, God, He just recently gave me the calling. I know that I've been called to ministry. I've been in ministry since 2012, but it wasn't until recently He showed me um, God is calling me to help those who desire a mom and they don't even know that they want a mom. I can talk to a woman and I'm listening to her and just listening to her. You want a mom. You want a good
Mm.
mom. More than likely, well, I will not say more than likely, but I come across a lot of women who, and it took me some time to see this. It doesn't matter what age you are. It really doesn't matter. If you, some people have a desire for a mom. You can be 50, want a mom. You can be 60, 70, 80. You want a mom. So one of the things that God have called me to do is restore daughters to godly moms. Not any moms, but godly mom. Because a godly mother could never be narcissistic.
Mm.
Um, so that's one of the calls I have on my life. Also to help those who have been through narcissistic abuse by their mothers, mainly, but just anybody who has gone through narcissistic abuse, sort of help them, point them in the right way. I'm definitely specifically called to daughters of not narcissistic mothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, to help them with every aspect of life because, well, I'll put it this way. When you lose a parent, when you did not grow up with a godly mom, when you did not grow up with love that, you know, God wants us to have, it shows up later on in life in all kinds of different areas of your life. And so, because of it, God has called me to help cultivate women and help them with any life skills that they may need while teaching them about Jesus. Train them up as disciples of Jesus, but at the same time, do life with them.
Yeah.
Any life skills that they didn't get, I might not have them, but one thing about me, I'm very resourceful. I know how to tell you how to get it. I know how to put you in touch with a person who can get it for you. I'm a teacher by nature. God called me to be a teacher. So teach people, teach these women how to do relationships. Teach them how to be introspective within themselves so that these type of things don't happen. Show them what it is that they need to change so that not just relationships, but any area of their life they can be successful in. So that's my calling.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful. So what have you found as some of the common traits, or how can someone that maybe is looking for a mother or that's looking to have a relationship, what are some of the ways that you can tell if you're being led by a narcissistic mother?
Um, I would say just on the surface level, they're worried about their image, how people view them. And everywhere they go, they're worried about how they are viewed. Um, so surface level, definitely image. Another surface level is they believe that others around them are in competition with them. They're always going to make it about them and somebody competing them with some area of life. Those are surface levels. I would say a little bit deeper. Um, if you look under the hood, you will see someone who does not have any accountability. They don't answer to anybody. They don't answer to God. They don't answer to, if it's a mother, they don't answer to their husband. They have no kind of accountability whatsoever in their life. And I would say gaslighting. Gaslighting, which is um, they will make you question your reality. They will make you question, um, did this really happen? It's a saying that goes, you're peeing on me, but you're telling me that it's raining. That would be narcissistic mother. They will convince you that something is wrong with you mentally. And I would say one of the biggest traits is no matter what, they'll never apologize for anything. Never. You would never ever hear the words "I'm sorry" out of their mouth. They can't say those two words. So those are some of the biggest ones that people will experience when they're dealing with a narcissistic mother.
Marshae, you met my mama? No, I'm just playing. I'm just curious, you know. It sounds like
The
you reading her
profiles are
diary.
always the same. The profiles are always the same.
Absolutely. So, what are some of the effective ways to deal with a narcissistic parent, a loved one, mother? And let me ask you this: is cutting them off ever a good option?
I think cutting them off is the best option. I really do. And I think that is the most effective way. But I'm also going to say this. That's the hardest thing you ever have to do, especially if you're talking about a narcissistic mother for a daughter. I mean, it's your mother. It took me 7 years. And I did cut her off. But every time I cut her off, I came right back to her. It took me 7 years of cutting her off that I finally got it. It took some doing. And in those 7 years, God will train you and teach you other things. So really cutting them off is very drastic. Cutting them off is the most effective way. I do not condone anybody having a relationship with a narcissist. Now, if you can't get out of it, I understand people can work with you, but I think when it comes to a narcissist, that's the best and only thing that will be the most effective. Because even with you cutting them off, you're about to start a major healing journey, and that healing journey will take time. Again, I cut mine off, and the healing journey began, but I could not properly cut that lady off until I had healed, which was 7 years. So that's really the most effective thing that I can say on how to cut a narcissist, on what you can do for a narcissist. You got to cut them off. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's if you deal with them, they're going to pull you back in. They're going to manipulate. They're going to lie. Love bomb you and get you right back down the same road. They are they smarter than you when it comes to doing evil. And I know that that's crazy to say, but me, I hear it all the time. I got a pure heart. It took me forever to figure out what that means, because you can't see what's on you, but they can see what's on you. And so you cannot outsmart the devil. He been here way too longer than you. So just like these narcissistic people, your mind don't work the way they work. You'll never, ever, ever be able to understand them. So don't even try. Don't even attempt it. Get away from them. And while you are away from them, you have to figure out what your boundaries look like. And the boundaries, they for you as well as for them. So when you setting those boundaries, is what I won't put up with, but you got to hold yourself accountable too. And so with that, no matter what you do, don't think that you can talk to a narcissist and you're going to convince them of anything. You're not. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. They don't care about how much you love them. They don't care about what you do for them. At the end of the day, it's always about control. Again, they are smarter than you at being evil. Get away from evil. There were certain things that God always say, run and flee. Because the devil is going to outsmart you when it comes to sexual perversion. The devil will outsmart you when it comes to idols. And when you can't get away from a narcissist, you make them an idol. God says to flee from idolatry. flee. He did not say try to make it work. He did not say try to deal with it. He did not say I'm gonna do A, B, C, D. He said run. So when it comes to a narcissist, you have to run until they can show you something different. If they don't show you nothing different, keep running from them. And I mean, that will answer your question, Mel.
Marshae, what did I do to deserve this? Oh my God.
Bro, I know I'm just on the tangent here, but you know.
Have we ever talked about, like, we talked before, but we didn't go this deep about narcissistic people or narcissistic mothers. Have we ever talked about the idolatry part before?
No, we haven't.
And I promise you, God gave me that maybe like 2 months ago, that we have created, like, our mothers train us to idolize them.
Right.
You know, and that can't outsmart evil. Oh my God.
Especially when you got a pure heart. You know, if you notice about having a pure heart, it says, blessed are those who are pure in heart, because they will see Jesus. They will see God. God and the devil ain't in the same room. God and the devil, they heart different. So you can't be pure in heart, but you understand the devil ways. When you are pure in heart, it's so easy for you to understand the ways of God because your heart is aligned with his. So you so far removed from understanding the mind of the devil. And it's not for us to understand. It's for us to know the devil ways so that we can do what we need to do to make sure we don't get in his web.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to understand his mind. We're not trying to, understand a narcissist. The best thing that we can do is to stay away from them. And, just to say what you were saying with an idol, when you make a person an idol, and y'all, we don't mean to make a narcissist an idol. Like he said, we're trying to do that. But if you think about idols in the Bible, they had to be brought down hard. God said that I can't have anything before me. And so this is why you go through the hardship of everything that the idol bring into your life, because God have to dismantle every single thought, every single belief. He have to take it and he have to destroy it and build you back up to where he is number one in your life. So an idol will always bring you disappointment. Always. It'll never be good because it's trying to replace God. It'll always bring you jealousy. It will bring you bitterness. It will bring you strife. It will bring you everything God says to get away from. Which is why you have to separate and God have to rebuild you up. And because the narcissists have put so much toxicity and poison in you, it's going to take some time. And you can't keep going back to the poison. You can't keep going back. Bro, we live this life.
Oh my God, that's so powerful. Oh my goodness, Marshae, you've blown my mind away. I'm so I'm tingling right here. So I want to ask you, and I don't even want to ask another question, but let me just try.
Go ahead.
So,
I'm an open book, man.
How vulnerable are those who have that mother wound to someone attempting to take advantage of them, and how do they avoid this?
Okay. So again, I'll go with it like this. Like I said, for me, I was always searching for a mom. So I was always open to any type of predator. And so many predators have came across my path, So a person who have dealt with a narcissist is extremely vulnerable. And if you do not let God, and notice I said let God. If you don't let God heal you, you can go to therapy, but the therapy can only take you so far.
Yeah.
So you will always be attracting narcissists. After the narcissistic mom in my life, 2 more narcissistic people came. But because the first one, they slipped through. They got through, and I still went through heartache and pain, but I had to learn. By that second one, I had to learn. God was teaching me. So that third one, when they showed up, oh, I see you saying, I see you. And guess what I'm finna do? Run. I ain't even finna go down here because I already know what it is. So they are extremely vulnerable, and they will stay vulnerable because, again, you cannot outthink a narcissistic person, or you cannot outthink a predator. So until you take a look at yourself and until you allow God to heal you, you will be open and vulnerable to not just narcissists, but also other predators.
Yeah. That's so much good stuff there. And so let's begin to wrap up here, Marshae, because I don't know how much more I can take at this point. But no, I'm just joking. So
No,
what
you
message? So what message or advice would you like to convey to our audience as we begin to wrap up today's episode?
I would say the biggest thing is to go on your personal journey with God. And whether that's healing journey or any other kind of journey, spiritual journey, your purpose, no matter what that journey is, go on your personal journey with God. When you do it, there will be so much peace. There will be so much happiness. He has a plan for you that is so much bigger than anything that you can ever imagine. So I just encourage people to, when everything else don't feel in your life, because for me, I hit rock bottom. Like I didn't have no other choice but God. If he didn't work, nothing wasn't gonna work. But when you try Jesus, and notice I said try, because you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be tired of life. If you tired of life and you can humble yourself and give him your everything, the Bible says I will do exceedingly and abundantly above all you can ask or think. That scripture have come true for me so much. Like, joy is real, and joy comes from God. And when God gives you joy, man can't take it. Man can't do nothing to you to take joy away. And I pray that all gets joy that only God can give, that unspeakable joy. It is real. God wants you to have it. And the only way that you can have it is if you go on the personal journey that he will take you on, and not allow anyone to take you off of it, regardless of what they say, what they believe. Because if you are doing something believing that you heard God, he is going to honor you, whether you get some stuff wrong, which is why you have to try Jesus.
Yeah. I told y'all to buckle up. I told you it's going to be powerful. She delivered. I did not overpromise and underdeliver. She came with it. Marshae, tell everybody how they can find you wherever you may be.
I am on the major 4 platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Crowning Royalty, CROWING Royalty, ROYALTY. Crowning Royalty Ministries. So just look me up there.
Absolutely. Marshae, it's been an honor and pleasure having you on. I really appreciate it. We got to do this again.
I'm more than happy to. Be blessed and honored too.
Yes, indeed. All right, take care.
Let's go.